Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Eric. We are going to take a look at the Roth IRA today. I'm going to break down everything in simple, easy to understand terms, so even if you have no investing experience, you'll be able to walk away from this video knowing if this is a good fit for you. Let's take a look. So first off, what is a Roth IRA? It is simply a tax-advantaged account that's designed to help you save for retirement. So the tax-advantaged piece of it is it uses post-tax money. So you use the money from your paycheck now that you've already paid income tax on to contribute to this account. And in return, you never pay taxes on that money again. So if you invest $1,000 and say over 30 years, that 1,000 turns into 5,000, you will not owe any taxes on that $4,000 gain that you made. That is a huge benefit for you. A Roth IRA is not an investment in and of itself. It is an account type. It's a specific type of account, but it is not an investment product. So the Roth itself will not earn you any money. You have to buy investments within the Roth. So there's two ways that you can have a Roth. One is you can just open one up on your own. You can use any brokerage site, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, Robinhood. There's countless options out there. Pick one that you like, or you might have a Roth available to you from your employer. So let's take a look at some of the limits and the rules for a Roth. In 2025, the limit is $7,000. That's the max that you can contribute. It's $8,000 if you're over 50. So if you're a little bit behind in your retirement savings, they give you a break and they allow you to contribute an extra $1,000 in the year 2025. In 2026, it goes up to $7,500 and $8,600 if you're over 50. And then there's income limits too. Most of us probably don't have to worry about these. They're pretty high. Phase outs start at $150,000 or $236,000 in 2025, and then they go up a little bit in 2026, $153,000 and $242,000 if married. So of course, this is a retirement account. The idea here is that this money is for retirement. So you generally have to be 59 and a half or older to withdraw from these accounts. There are some exceptions though. You can actually withdraw your contributions anytime without penalty, but any gains you've made would hit that penalty. It's a 10% penalty if you take it out before retirement age of 59 and a half. There's also something called the 72T rule, which you can use to get the gains out earlier, but that's a topic for another day. So what investments can you use? So like I said, a Roth is just an account type. You can buy all kinds of different investment products within the Roth. Of course, if it's a employee-sponsored plan, you're going to be limited to whatever your employer offers. I've participated in a good chunk of employer-sponsored retirement plans, and generally it seems like there's a good dozen to maybe 20 options to pick from. If it's self-directed, again, if you open this account on your own, you can use almost any investment that's available to you. So that could be any mutual fund or ETF that you would want to buy, stocks, individual bonds. So that's one of the better benefits if you open your Roth on your own and it's self-directed. You're not limited to any plan options. You can buy, again, anything that you want. You'll generally be able to buy better options. Sometimes employer-sponsored plans have high expense ratios for their ETFs or mutual funds, and you can find alternatives if you self-direct that are basically the exact same product, but way less fees. The idea here is that you have the freedom to pick any investment option that you choose, and you can help dictate how much fees you pay when you can self-direct. Let's take a look at a few examples here. I tried to do a couple of different scenarios just to give you guys an idea of how powerful these accounts can be over time. So the key here is that you're going to want to start as early and as young as possible with your investing. The more time you have for your money to grow, the less amount of your own money it's going to take to get to your goals. So first example, starting amount $7,000. So again, the limit for 2025 was $7,000. So our first year, we're going to do $7,000. We're going to invest for 10 years at 10%. And we're going to put in $7,500 a year from the second to the 10th year. I used $7,500 because that's the limit. Next year, generally, this is going to go up a little bit each of the 10 years, so this might be even a conservative estimate. $150,000, you started with 7, your total contributions were 75, and the total interest or your total gain was 67,000. Not too bad. Now, if we do a similar exercise, we're going to increase our time horizon to 30 years instead of 10. So again, if you can start when you're, say, 25, and you can do this until you're 55, this is an outcome that you may have. Starting at 7,000, a 10% rate of return. Again, that's roughly the S&P 500. We're going to add 7,500 a year for the next 29 years after this initial one. So now when we look at the result, we see that we put in 225,000 of our own money, but we're worth 1.48 million. We only contributed 225,000 of our own money, yet we made almost $1.25 million in interest for, again, a total of almost 1.5 million. So again, if you can start this, it doesn't take as much money as you might think. And the last example will prove that even a little bit more. Let's say you start this when you're 20 it will only take you $250 a month to potentially become a millionaire. Of course, this isn't guaranteed, but again, if we look at the last 100 years or so, the S&P has returned about 10%. So $250 starting amount for 40 years, 10% return, $250 a month. You'll end up with $1.4 million, and it would have only cost you $120,000 of your own. So this is $250 a month. If you break this down by paycheck, that's $125 every paycheck. Can you find $125 every paycheck? Because this is possible for you. I know it's a long time, but it's probably shorter than you think. So let's just say for a minute, you can't do $125 every 2 weeks. Can you do 50 or 75? If you think that it's out of reach because that's too much money, the question you should ask yourself is, isn't something going to be better than nothing? If you never contribute anything, nothing's ever going to happen. Even if this was only a third of the result and you had $500,000, wouldn't you be happy with that? I know I sure would be. I hope that you found this video helpful and valuable. If you did, I would sincerely appreciate a like, or if you would consider subscribing. I release new financial education videos all the time, and I hope to see you again. Take care.